Welcome to this episode of the GymInformer podcast. I'm Chris Gilbert, your host for this episode. And today our host is Dave Scott, the owner of Hybrid Strength and Fitness in Tip City, Ohio, just north of Dayton. This is a really cool, as you could guess, hybrid gym, old school bodybuilding gym mostly, but it's got some really cool other stuff that we'd like to talk to Dave about. But before we get started, let me show you some photos I took when I was at this. So Dave, you've owned Hybrid for a couple years now, but before we get into talking about the gym, can you give us a little bit of background about how you became the owner of the gym?
Yeah, thanks, Chris, for having me on the podcast here, and this is a great honor and privilege to be on with you. So Hybrid started out, I was actually a member of the old gym that this used to be. It was called Troy Strength, back when it was located in Troy, Ohio, which is just the town north of Tip City. And I was actually the third member of the gym that when it opened, and I knew the previous owner from basically high school and kind of working out at our local YMCA. And it kind of got to a point after about 7 years of him owning it that it was kind of going downhill. He'd made some financial decisions that had kind of, were detrimental to the business. And I'd always joked that I could always run the gym better than him. And it was one of those things where he just kind of came to me one day and said, hey, the gym's going to go out of business. You've kind of, everyone's kind of seeing that trend, and this is your time. You think you can run this place better. I would love to pass this on to you. So, through, getting the gym appraised and just kind of going through financials and stuff, it took us about 7 months for me to finally close the deal on it. And we opened up on November 1st of 2014 as Hybrid Strength and Fitness, and it's been a success since then. So it's exciting to come up on our 10-year anniversary here in November. A lot of businesses go out of business within the first 5 years, and especially with the pandemic, it's amazing that we're still hanging around. So
it's amazing. Like, it seems like the strong survive from that.
Yep.
So you've got a hybrid gym, obviously, but it's most of the equipment, most of the space seems to be dedicated to being an old school bodybuilding gym.
Yep.
You've got some really cool old pieces in there. You've got some old Paramount, you have some old Nautilus and chain driven, but then you've also got some newer pieces. Like there was a couple Rogers pieces in there. So what's your decision process on what's going to go on the floor? I mean, you've got a huge space and you don't really have to go, okay, like I need to get rid of this piece to get a new piece because you've got plenty of room.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But how do you decide what's going to go on the floor?
Well, it was obviously a lot harder when we were at our original location that was only 7,000 square feet. We had it packed in there pretty tight. Since day one, we've been an official hammer strength training facility. So I made sure to get that just because we had so much hammer strength when I purchased the original gym from the previous owner that I wanted that designation. And I want to say that in 2014, we were, I think, only the third or fourth gym in the state of Ohio to have that designation, and the only one in the Dayton, Ohio area. And so that was a true honor. But over the course of the years of just getting to know other gym owners, getting to know equipment, learning, networking with other gym owners and equipment collectors and enthusiasts, you get to learn about the equipment. You go to other gyms, you see what they have, and really find out pieces that are exceptional, because not every, Flex Fitness is a great brand, but not every piece is great. Body Masters is great, but like anything, just even like Arsenal. I love Arsenal, but like a lot of their pieces, just I don't like. So it's just what it comes down to is I've always viewed hybrid as being an old school with a new school kind of vibe first. And so trying to find those older pieces that fit in with focusing on leg equipment and our back equipment as our primary, since those are the two hardest areas to train. I figured the more of those you have and that angles, the better your gym's going to be. And it's just, you find out what you like. I've gone through many years of buying equipment and it just didn't work out. You try a piece, you don't like it, members don't like it, we sell it, so it really comes down to what do the members like, what do I like. There are a few pieces that I have that are specifically for me that don't get used a lot. Prime examples are legendary H squat. I would say that 10-foot leg press, for as great as of a machine as that is, and a legendary old school piece, it doesn't get used a lot, but it's a great statement piece, to have in the gym. And, we have a couple of those pieces too. It's like, I look in the area at what other gyms have and don't have, and I try to get things that will separate us and make us more unique, basically.
Oh, that's a great mindset and a great thought process on that. You mentioned the old gym being 7,000 square feet. How big is the new gym?
So the new gym is 25,000 square feet. Now, the entire building that we occupy here is 56,000 square feet. So there's plenty of room for future expansion. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm under a lease right now. I tried to buy the building, but the owner didn't want to sell right now. But we've had conversations, and he's made a comment that he's not getting any younger. So hopefully the next couple of years we can buy. So we'll see what it's going to be like. But yeah, 25,000 square feet is a big gym, and we still have plenty of room. When you were here, you saw we still have plenty of room to keep adding more. We haven't even maxed out our 25,000 yet. So
yeah, I mean you've got a pretty large bodybuilding area with lots of old school equipment. You've got a pretty decent sized powerlifting area, a pretty decent sized functional training area with a huge turf.
Yeah.
So I mean, and yet you still have plenty of room to add more stuff in. So
yeah, and it's we can the amount of people that come in here feel like it's going to get crowded, but with that much space and the amount of equipment that we have, people are spaced out so well, and it's so well organized in muscle groups that you're not basically over top and tripping over everybody. So
yeah, now you have, from an atmosphere standpoint, I think you've done a really good job in that you've got a warehouse, which a lot of times is hard to create atmosphere in, but I think you've done a good job in like bringing in those giant speakers and pumping in the music and putting in a few murals where you can put in murals and putting in some graffiti where you can put in some graffiti.
Yeah.
The members that I spoke to when I was there all seemed to love the gym. Everybody seems super happy working out there. But it's like you said, you've got a little bit of new school, but it definitely has an old school vibe. Mm-hmm. Is that what you were going for?
That was definitely what I was going for. So, you think back to the old Gold's Gym of the 70s with Arnold, we all grew up on it. And I always wanted to have that kind of vibe of everyone's, just in there helping each other. You're pushing one another. You're training hard. And I just love that old school, that vibe, but you mix in the new school because that's kind of what's, trendy right now. It's what people like to see. But we're not flashy, it's not a fitness center, definitely. I've always looked at atmosphere as being, besides the equipment, the atmosphere is probably, the most important thing to me. I want it to be an experience for you when you come to hybrid, because I feel like if you have a great experience, that it's going to motivate you and want to come back. If it's any gym can have the same kind of equipment, but the atmosphere is off, you're just kind of like, it was okay, but I'm not that excited about wanting to come back or joining. You create an atmosphere where it's motivating, it's exciting, it's fun. everyone's helping everyone, then you're going to want to join that gym. You're going to want to, come back. So atmosphere is so important for any gym. Really, it is.
Oh, I actually think I agree with you 100%. I actually think atmosphere is the most important thing.
Yeah.
You'll find people that will work out at gyms without that, with equipment that isn't that great, or they're fairly mediocre gyms, but they love the atmosphere and they will stay in that gym forever.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yet you'll talk to people who've been to some of the some really great gyms with some really great equipment, and they leave because they don't like the atmosphere.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I agree. It's, and I would say the next most important thing is just the community that you've built around that, and the culture that you've built there. We've just built that into the atmosphere here, and people love it. I mean, they come from all over. I've had IFBB pros driving an hour and a half multiple times a week to come train at my gym. They've passed how many other gyms, and to come train at my place. I've had people on Saturdays. I've had a couple of guys probably a month ago that drove from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 3.5 hours to come train at our gym because they wanted to do our leg section. And they're like, yeah, we follow you on Instagram. This looks awesome. We wanted to come train legs here, and we're going to drive 3.5 hours to go back home. So it just kind of shows you that, if you build it and you build that environment that is motivating and inspiring to people, that they'll make that drive to come see you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, especially with social media now, and it seems like you.
Oh yeah.
A lot of gym owners seem to be afraid of social media. You've seemed to have embraced it and done things to kind of amp up or enhance your social media presence. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so my whole philosophy behind, I don't post probably as much as I should, honestly. I don't do a whole lot of high-end video. It's very authentic, very raw when I post my videos. I try to be as authentic as possible, and it just comes straight from the heart when I post videos or anything. Now, with that being said, we do have, we'll have a post with a drone in here, and we'll have a photographer come in and do some high-end stuff, that I'll pay for. But for the most part, I just like showcasing, the members. Honestly, I feel like they're the ones that are helping create the environment. So I share a lot with our stories. We get tagged quite a bit. And so we probably post mostly from our stories, and we get a lot of traction from stories, just from sharing and reposting what the members have posted or visitors have posted. So could I do better in social media? Probably. But we're getting there.
No, I think you've done some unique things, and you kind of get it though. Like, you were telling me about the one area where you put a logo up backwards because people are always taking selfies in the mirror. So,
oh yes, that's the women's locker room. So, we've got this neon sign in there that says, for the ladies, it's like hot pink, and it says, "Be a badass with a good ass." And just a $50 neon sign that you just put up that says that, the women went crazy. And just to have like a 3-foot by 3-foot logo that's reversed, so when they're taking their selfie in the mirror, your logo's facing the right direction. I mean, that's just marketing genius that I had there, I guess. Because you don't want to have your logo backwards, it's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was super smart. I really like that idea. And I think a lot of gym owners could really embrace social media a little more than they do. So many people are afraid of it. Yeah. And it's actually free advertising. I mean, the more the more it's promoting your gym.
Yeah, when you were here, you saw, I have my logo pretty much everywhere around the gym. And whether it's the targets on our Rogue rig, it's painted on the wall. It's if it's in the women's locker room for the logo, for the mirror. We've got it everywhere because I want you to be able to tag me or take a photo and you see that logo in the background, so just trying to do the little marketing things that I can. And then we also give out free stickers, we buy those every month, and I just have them at the front desk. And so people stick them on their cars, their water bottles. It's kind of funny when I get tagged or someone sends me a photo and they see a car, at a stoplight, and there's our there's our gym logo, on someone's car. And I'm like, oh, hey, cool. And it's like an hour away.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's branding 101. So
100%, definitely.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about like what you're doing really well. What is it you think you could be doing better? Or is there something you think you could be doing better besides social media? You mentioned you could do a little bit better there.
Yeah. That's a good one, because I don't know what I could be doing better. I've had a solid team around me, that's really gone above and beyond to help create all of this. If I had to pick something, because it wouldn't be equipment, because we've got plenty of that. Atmosphere is solid. Memberships are solid. If I had to say one thing that I wish I had more time for that I could do, would probably be marketing out in the community, getting more involved in the community in general. We're part of our local chamber. I haven't gone to any meetings because it always seems like I have to work. But, I would say getting more involved. But with that being said, I do donate quite a bit to our local high school and stuff, and charities when they come by. So I just wish there was more that we could be doing. So.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, you're in a 25,000 square foot space with plenty to grow. And you potentially are going to buy the building. So I guess you've kind of answered the future of hybrid question, but what is really the future beyond just where you are now?
The future is just this. I would like to buy the building and continue to grow and just be one huge gym that is kind of, I like to say the word Mecca, but everyone seems to throw out that word Mecca. But it is. I want it to become a destination. We're an hour from Columbus. We've had, Sean Clarita here. We've had Hunter Labreda here. So when the Columbus, every March for the Arnold Festival, attracting those guys to come to this gym, I want it to be a destination location. Having multiples was initially back before this was even a thought of having such a big gym. I had thought about having multiples around the Dayton area, 3 or 4 smaller gyms. But it's kind of gotten to the point now where, it's taken 10 years to source a lot of this old school equipment. And there's no way I could replicate this, just because of the scarcity of the equipment now and the cost, and the vibe wouldn't be the same, and that's just what I'm looking for, is just to have that kind of that original Golds, like you can go to Golds around the country, but it's not Golds, man. Like Golds was like in California, that's what I want. And when you get back to the roots, that's what I'm looking for, is, be a staple in the Dayton, Ohio area, that Southwest Ohio area, be one of the best gyms in the country, that everyone's going to want to come to, just like a Bev's or a Super Gym, or Gold's. If you're passing through Ohio, hey, we got to stop by Hybrid.
No, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And I think if you're not there yet, you're definitely getting there. And I would say you're probably there now.
I appreciate
it's a matter of letting more people know you're out there, because you have some super cool equipment and a cool vibe. I really like working out at the gym.
Awesome.
So as you know, our last question is always, what advice would you have for someone who is thinking about opening a gym or wants to open a gym?
Oh boy. So what I tell people, because, I do some mentoring, and I've mentored a few people that have looked at starting gyms or have come to me about wanting to start gyms. The most important thing to me has been having a mentor. My business mentor has been TJ Slomka from Old School Iron up in Cleveland. I met TJ back in 2017, back when, the gym was only 3 years old. And he had never knew who I was, but I had been following him for a while and loved what he was doing with his gym. And, I think you've been there, and
Oh, yeah.
it's, the kind of vibe that, I was kind of going for, but I love the way he ran his business. And so I just literally went up to him one day. I drove 3 hours up north, and he happened to be there. And I said, I'm kind of in dire straits. I don't know what I'm doing. The gym's in a massive amount of debt. I don't want to lose my business. I need a mentor. And he literally canceled all of his plans that day, sat down with me for 9 hours. We went through all of my books, all of my tax returns, set out a plan on how we were going to get out of debt, how we're going to continue to grow. And, it's turned my gym around. So I would say number one is finding that business mentor, because a lot of people don't have business backgrounds that want to get into the gym business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of trial and error, and it's a lot of asking questions. And sometimes, TJ, I've ran things by him, and the way he does things might be, I don't want to do that. It doesn't really fit for me. But it's
Right.
having that mentor, look at it from a different angle that might give you a different perspective. On top of that, I would say be prepared to spend some money, especially now post-COVID. New equipment's expensive. Old school equipment's expensive. It's almost the same price, some of these pieces. Like, you love that Paramount pendulum that I have. I mean, I bought that thing for $800 back in 2016, and I've seen them go for like $8,000 now.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous how much this equipment's gotten. So be prepared to spend some money, and if you don't have the capital, like I didn't initially when I bought this gym, I had to put my house up for collateral. I liquidated my 401k. Wow. You've got to go all in. If this is what your dream is, you've got to go all in on it. You can't, pussyfoot around, especially now post COVID, because you're not going to make it. So.
Yeah, and you definitely went all in, and it's paid off.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. I appreciate you coming on, and thank you for your time, and keep us updated on what's going on in the future.
Absolutely, man. We'll do.
All right. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more great content.